I've wanted to make a video about songwriting for ages, but I always like, I don't know, I never want to tell anyone else how to do it because you should just do whatever you want. But I do get asked about it a lot, so I've written a big list of things I've learned in my 10 years of writing songs that are like my rules that I live by. You don't have to live by anyone's rules with songwriting, that's the beauty of the craft. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Jazz Ratchford. I'm an independent singer-songwriter. I've released a bunch of stuff on Spotify and I've been putting out music on YouTube for even longer. Here is what I've learnt in 10 years of writing songs. I have been a diary writer since I was about 13, on and off. I think like practicing making thoughts into words is very important for, I mean, that's what writing is, right? But also you get to notice like things in your life that are important to you, and then you know that that's what you should be writing about. Also, when I'm out and about, my notes app is full of shit. Everywhere I go, things people say, things I've seen, people I'm curious about, just like anything. My notes app is full of shit. And I always try and expand the idea immediately, but often it just ends up being a word. I'll give you an example. This one says, ring on a pint glass, don't go, Canadian tuxedo, Carey Mulligan, hypochondria, human. Love it! Get into the habit of writing everything down. Get into the habit of noticing things that interest you and write them down. And that way, anytime I'm like, I fancy writing a song, I can go straight to that notes app and there's loads of random words and inspiring things written down. A lot of things my friends say as well, like weird, funny things, I always write them down. Write everything down. Learn and know other music inside out. I started singing and playing guitar and ukulele, doing covers, and I think the cover is an underrated thing. When you learn music, you know it so much better than just listening to it or studying it. You get it under your fingers and in your heart and in your body, and learning music that inspires you, not only it teaches you a lot because you can learn, you know, chords that you might like and you can use in your own stuff, I think it like teaches you about the songs. When you're like existing in the song, you understand the structure of the song. It's just, you should learn a lot of other music and do it all the time. Yeah, you can understand the lyrics in a new way because you feel how they feel in your mouth and understand why it is that they work. And I think that's really important. I used to rewrite the lyrics to my favourite songs as like a songwriting exercise. I think that's really good. If you're like new to it, you don't really know what you're doing, take a song you love and just like rewrite it bit by bit. You can start with the lyrics and then you can do the chords and then you can do the melody. Why not? This is something that really has only come into my life like the last year or so. Playing live forces you to learn your songs off by heart, which I think is really important. If a song flows well and you can learn it off by heart like relatively easily, I always think it's a better song. If it's too hard to learn, like there's something off. I think like the ways that audiences interact with things is very interesting and useful. I feel like that's how I find out which of my songs are really good, is by playing them live. You can just tell in the vibe of the room, in like how they flow, in how people respond to them. You don't need to know the names of your chords. This is like the best thing I've ever done for my songwriting. Just don't worry about it. Whatever chords you're using, just add another note in, or like try and play it in a different way. I know on Ultimate Guitar, it's a really great feature. Whenever you're playing a chord, you can click a drop-down menu and it like shows you all the other ways you can play that chord. Throw away everything you think you know about chords. Don't worry about the letters of a chord. Just worry about how it sounds, how it feels. I have a lot of chords that are like my chords. I feel like, I don't know what they're called, but they sound really nice. So whenever you're playing on a piano, you know, you're playing a C, just like add in a second, or like move one finger, or switch the chord around and invert and change. It's a really good way to make things sound more interesting. It's like seasoning on your song. An overly complicated melody, for the sake of it, makes your song really uncatchy and just like not that nice to listen to. I think especially for like folk and pop music, something that feels comfortable for you to sing will feel comfortable for people to listen to. And people want to feel comfortable when they're listening to music, for the most part. Sometimes there's a tendency for us to be like, I need to make something genius. But you don't. Small moments of unexpected stuff that you've like sprinkled in is so much more effective than the whole thing being overly complicated. So don't overcomplicate your songs. Sing from the heart. Sing something that feels natural, because things that feel natural are good. I use the Notes app on my laptop, and that's where all my songs are, and I have like the written lyrics, and then you can add voice notes and recordings into the same document, so you can have it all in one place, so you know exactly when you're going through your songs, here are these lyrics and this is how it sounded when I wrote it. That's so useful and like kind of obvious. I don't really write down how to play things, and I probably should. Record, produce, layer, add, finish things. Try and like develop stuff, even if you feel it's not perfect. Aim for 90% good, and then that 10% is just like, it doesn't exist, don't worry about it. Otherwise we'll spend our whole lives chasing 100%. Nothing's ever 100%. Once something's 90% good, just finish it. See what happens. Usually be surprised, but also like practicing that stage of the process when you're like making an idea into a thing that's done is very important, and I think we forget that a lot. I don't listen to music everywhere I go. I often do not put my headphones in when I'm on the train, when I'm going places, just when I'm like living my life. Exist in silence. I think it's useful because it gives your space time to think about stuff. And if you're thinking about stuff, you can write about stuff. I get a lot of song ideas when I'm just sitting and thinking and like being bored, because your brain is just like empty, and then it has time to produce things. Your brain can't produce things if you're constantly feeding it all day long. So turn off your music sometimes. Maybe that's controversial. I think it's a good tip. Does your song need 3 choruses? Think of the why and don't waste any words. This is something I learned during a session a few years ago when the producer was just like, delete this, get rid of this, and I was like, no! And it was actually the best thing you could do. Don't waste any words. Songs are short. Every word needs to be there on purpose. I think you can tell when somebody is just like filling up lines for the sake of it. And so if you don't need to have 3 different pre-choruses because you've got nothing to say, don't worry, just have one. It's okay. You can get rid. Just like delete, 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 I think is good. There's a song that I've been performing live recently. There used to be a middle 8 in it, and as I was performing live, I always used to feel like, I hate this middle 8. It just like, it's taking up time and it doesn't really add anything. So I just used to cut it, and then I realised, oh, we can just cut it in the real song. You don't need to have every single part of the song structure every single time. It's okay, just get rid. This is probably my biggest and best advice, and the one piece of advice I would give to everyone who wants to write songs. Write loads of bad songs about everything. Don't wait for the most intense emotion in your life to write a song. I write about everything. I write random verses that never turn into anything most days. I am constantly seeing things and writing about them, even like tiny stupid things, you know what I mean? Like a lovely cup of tea that I had. Songwriting is a muscle and you have to use it a lot. And I think too often we think of songwriting as like just working on one song and then that song is finished, and then working on another song and that song is finished. The way I see it is like you are an artist and you have a sketchbook, and a lot of times artists will sketch the same thing 10 times in slightly different ways before realising how that thing fits into the bigger picture. So don't be too precious over everything you write. Just write all the time and constantly stretch that muscle and get used to writing things that will never go anywhere. I literally have got hundreds of songs in my laptop, probably just from this year. So you just crack on, write so much. The more you write, the better you get. Then when I write a really good song, I know it and I feel it in my heart, because I'm like, that came out really easily and quickly and like it just feels finished. Write all the time. You are limited by your ability, so unfortunately you must practice every day. Practice your instrument, practice your voice as well. I have noticed how much better I've gotten at singing in the last year because I am singing every single day and I play guitar every single day. This goes back to the first tip, which is like play other people's music that you really like and learn and improve. Your songs are only as good as how good you are at your instrument, so you gotta get better. Your range extends, you can play more chords, you can do more exciting different things. Practice your own music as well. I think this is really important. Just because you wrote it doesn't mean you can perform it really well. This one is a real pet peeve of mine. I hate when the cadence of a word or like the emphasis on a certain word doesn't fit with the emphasis of the music. So speak your lyrics aloud and feel how they normally fit in a rhythm. Maybe this is the one tip that's like a bit of a personal jazz thing, because listen, you do you, whatever you want to do. But for me personally, I always think the purpose of songwriting is to tell a story, is to put across a message, and so whatever you can do to make what you're saying really clear and make sense and fit with the music, you should do. Getting over the cringe of sharing your art is one of the hardest but most crucial parts of songwriting. That's what I've written down here. It doesn't bother me anymore. To be cringe is to be free. Oh, ain't that the truth? I think the hardest thing you can do is share that first thing for the first time. It's so cringe. I know, songwriting is so cringe. All writing, all creative stuff is so cringe. But as soon as you can share stuff, not only does it force you to finish things, which is really important, but also it means you get feedback. And also I find that once you get feedback, you have a place to put things that's not just like sitting nowhere. It is motivation. It makes me want to write more because I'm like, I want to hear what people think about this. So finish your songs and share them with people, whether that's live, whether that's with friends, whether that's on the internet, which I think is the best place for sharing songs, whatever that is to you, do it. Cool. I think this is the end of my video. The thing is, the way to get good at songwriting is the way to get good at anything, and that's to do it a lot. I write every day, whether that's while I'm on the train and I've quickly come up with a verse, or like something's inspired me, or I'm really sitting down and like writing a whole song with my guitar. I write every single day without fail. So regardless of all of these tips, I think that's the main thing you should do. I don't know if this was helpful, but it is my thoughts. So thank you for watching. I'm gonna put the transcript of everything I wrote down here on my Patreon, which, if you don't know, every month I upload a demo and also a newsletter about all my musical goings on in the month. And so if you want to keep up with me there, you can. I've also got a new song coming out tomorrow. It's called Accidentally. I'm very proud of it. It sounds a bit like this.
Accidentally fell flat, accidentally
If you have any more questions about songwriting, do ask them in the comments. I'm fascinated to hear from other songwriters about how they write things. I think crucially with all art, you just gotta do it enough that you create your own way of doing it. Have a wonderful day and week and month, and yeah, let's chat in the comments. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.